Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tyne Valley, Prince Edward Island. You are watching the 2026 Maritime Under-16 AAA Hockey Championships here on High Button Sports. My name is Luke Diamond. Coming up, we will have the Western Rebels, the host team, playing Game 2 of their tournament, playing against the Cabot Highlanders. Game 2 of their day here in Tyne Valley as the wild card team here in this tournament. But before puck drop at around 7:30 local time here in Tyne Valley, the opening ceremonies will take place. We'll get going on that at a little closer to 7:15, so in a few minutes here. So you will see the teams take the ice in both uniform and out of it to take part in a few presentations and ceremonies and the like, as well as some other special guests here in Tyne Valley this evening. So we will pan down to the ice once that begins before we get going here in our final round-robin game of the day here in this Thursday of action at the Maritime Hockey Championships. So stay tuned here for the opening ceremonies.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Jeremy McDonald, and I will be the MC this evening here in Tyne Valley for our 2026 Maritime U16 AAA Hockey Championship opening ceremonies. To get things started for the official opening ceremonies, let's welcome the participating teams to this year's championship. First off, let's welcome, representing Hockey New Brunswick, being led by flag bearer Elliot Ramsey, the St. John Vitoes. Please welcome, representing Hockey Nova Scotia, being led by flag bearer Kent Maynard, the Kings Hockey And our last pair of teams will be the opponents in the upcoming matchup. First, representing Hockey Nova Scotia, being led by their flag bearer Kessler Ellis, are the Cabot Highlanders. And last but not least, please welcome your host team for this year's championship, being led by flag bearer Oliver Williams, your hometown Western Rebels. If we get the Highlanders on their respective blue line over here. Highlanders on the blue line over here. To officially open the 2026 Maritime Hockey Championships, please join me in welcoming the members of the official party. Representing District 23, please welcome MLA Hilton McLennan. Representing the community of Tyne Valley, Mayor, His Worship Jeff Noy. Representing Hockey Nova Scotia, we have League President Jamie Stoney. Representing the Tournament Committee, Tournament Chair Nicole DeRoche. And representing our sponsor is our top donor, Mr. Warren Ellis of Summerside Chrysler Dodge. At this time, I call upon Nicole DeRoche, Tournament Chair, to bring greetings.
Welcome everyone to the Maritime U16AAA Championship. As both the chairperson for this tournament and and the administrator here at the Cabot Farms Community Event Center, it's an absolute honor to see the stands getting filled with players, families, and fans from across the Maritimes. Best of luck to all the athletes today. Play hard, stay safe, and let's make this tournament one to remember. Before we continue with today's game, we would like to acknowledge that we're gathered on the traditional and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We honor the history and culture of the Mi'kmaq people who have lived on and cared for the land for generations. As we come together for this tournament, we commit to the spirit of sportsmanship, community, and respect for the land and also for one another. Good luck.
Thank you, Nicole, and thank you to your tournament committee for putting on such a great tournament so far. It is my pleasure now to call upon Mr. Hilton McLennan, District 23 MLA.
Thank you. As MLA for the area, I'd like to welcome all the teams, their coaches, family members to beautiful Tyne Valley. I don't think you can get a better spot. Nope. And I'd just like to take a second to congratulate the organizing committee and Nicole and her team. It takes a lot of volunteers to pull this off, and they've done a great job. Thank you.
And now a few words from the mayor of Tyne Valley himself, Mr. Jeff Noy.
Just like Hilton, I want to welcome everyone for coming into Tyne Valley, even though it's not as nice of a spring as we'd like to see. But hey, we're still here. Yeah, congratulations for getting to this point, all the players. I want to thank all the volunteers and all the parents and all the organizers for the team. It's a lot of work to put a hockey team together, and this is what you're all here for. So everybody, play hard, play tough, and good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, this weekend's tournament will certainly showcase the top teams in the Maritimes. We've already seen a couple of exciting games so far. The winner after Sunday will proudly wear that championship crown. Right now, though, to officially kick off this year's championships, we would like to conduct the official puck drop. At this time, we call upon the captain of the Cabot Highlanders, Brent Boyd, and captain from the Western Rebels, Ben McGregor, to come forward and join Warren Ellis from Summerside Chrysler Dodge. At this time, one more thing to do prior to the start of our game. I ask you to please rise if you're able to. As well, remove your hats and caps for the singing of our national anthem performed by Martin Lynch.
From far and wide.
Once again, let's hear it for Martin Lynch. The only person that can handle the pressure of an anthem is a goalie, Dan. Well, we look forward to a great weekend of hockey as the top teams in the U16AAA Maritime Challenge seeking this year's championship title. Best of luck to all the teams. Play hard and enjoy the experience. Thank you for joining us this evening, and good luck to the Cabot Highlanders and the Western Rebels.
And so that will officially open the tournament here in Tyne Valley. All 5 teams take the ice and say hi to the Prince Edward Island faithful here at the Cavendish Farms Community Event Center in Tyne Valley. With the Western Rebels, their backs against the wall here in this tournament. 0-1 after that loss to the Dukes last night. Looking for some bounce back. Meanwhile, the Cabot Highlanders will look to build on a successful start to their day after beating the Kings 2-0 earlier on this afternoon. We meet the starting goaltenders. It'll be Carter Kirsten in net for the Cabot Highlanders, the league goaltender of the year and the boaster of a .952 save percentage on the season. For the Highlanders, he'll be countered by Hudson Lynch. For the Rebels, 11-6 on the year, and Western down with a 2-on-1. Early save for Kirsten, and a rebound bounced away as we're underway here in Tyne Valley. Western Rebels in the home green and black uniforms, and the Highlanders to your right in the blue and white, as Western looking to jam away at the puck here in the first 30 seconds of this game. They were down with an early opportunity out on that first shift, and laying him out is with a big hit, Daniel Landry knocking his man to the ground. He was contested there in the corner with Ben McGregor, the captain of the Western Rebels, as it sent right on down onto Hudson Lynch's net to start off this game. It shot down the length of the ice as the Rebels were changing up. So that'll be the first whistle of the game. Exactly 1 minute into this one here in Tyne Valley. You're watching the 2026 Maritime Under 16 Hockey Championships here on High Button Sports. My name is Luke Diamond. It's a pleasure to help bring this one to you here tonight in day 2 of the 5-day championships. This our busiest day of the schedule yet. Last night was only the one game on the schedule, Rebels and Dukes. And today we've had a pair of games so far, the Cabot win over Kings, and a barn burner of a matchup between the Eastern Dukes and the St. John Vitoes that ended with a 7-6 Dukes win in a shootout. So the other PEI team here in this tournament advancing to 2-0 as that's directed toward Hudson Lynch's net. Early energetic shifts here from both of these teams to get this game going. That was thrown toward the net by Cabot's Rolly McCaddy, but it'll come all the way back down to the Highlanders zone and behind Kirsten. Now that's going to be Hudson Pino battling for it and beyond the net. He is cornered there by a pair of Highlanders, and Cabot will come up with puck possession, take it up the middle. Rim back down along the wall is Ty Collins. Collins, the lone Tyne Valley resident on the team, playing for the Western Rebels here this year, the host club in this Maritime Championships, as both teams will get a shift in. Making a nifty move up the middle is the defenseman Brett Boyd, the captain of this Cabot Highlanders club, and we're going to get a stoppage of play in the neutral zone. And a breath here with 17:48 still on the clock. These two teams have not met since October 19th, since way early on in the season. They met here twice on October 4th and October 5th. The Rebels won one by a 2-1 score. The Cabot followed up the next day with a 1-0 victory. And they met again in Port Hawkesbury all the way back on October 19th. A game that Cabot won by a 2-1 score, as Isaac Goody was right on top of Carter Kirsten's net, but his shot whistled wide up and over top. So it's going to be sent into the other corner by William McClellan. McClellan had one of 2 goals earlier today in Cabot's opening tournament win. It'll roll back to Boyd, pursued there by Goody. And D back with his partner, and up with it is Boyd. Couple quick changes in there for the Rebels. Andrew Jones will send that into the corner, the other goal scorer in that game in the Kings win for Cabot. And up the wall, that's Caleb Smallman skating up the left wall with it. We'll direct that toward the net out there on that line with Zach Goody. And Goody went in to throw a check in the corner. Some collision and push and shoving in behind the play. Poirier giving chase for Cabot. Stops up in the corner. 2-on-2 battle down there. And sneaking in, take that as Cade Tenard. He'll go up to the point for it with Landry. Landry along the ice, and that's going to drift wide of Hudson Lynch's left leg. And a collision down along the wall. Banging for that is Jameis Beaton. And he won't be able to keep the puck in as Zach Goody will send it up the center. It's kicked in further by Smallman. Both teams now getting in some sporadic changes. And that is going to roll around Brody Noy. Noy has to hustle back and eventually got the defenseman Luke McGilvery for the Rebels. It got around McGilvery and will roll up to Brady Allison. Allison on the backhand pass to Ace Otway, the assistant captain on his team. Otway will send it down low. Carter Kirsten aggressively out of his net there, helping out his defenseman perhaps to clear that puck. And they cleared a little bit too assertively as it's sent down to 200 feet on an icing call against the Cabot Highlanders here. So 15:47 to go here in this first period. Still waiting for our first goal in this one. And as I just mentioned, there hasn't been a game here this year between these two teams where there have been more than 3 goals scored between them. A 2-1, 2-1, and 1-0 result in those 3 meetings this year during the season series. It was a draw outside, so it's going to be backhanded up the wall there. That was off the tape of James McQuarrie from Cabot. And it's back in behind the net where Collins will look for Isaac Goody. Pass was a little ahead of him, so it's going to be deflected down toward the Highlanders zone. But the Rebels give chase. Ellis Callahan right on top of the play there for Western, but taken back up the other way now. A 2-on-2. McQuarrie wanted to cut to the middle of the ice, but he fanned on his shot. That's going to roll back over toward Sam Surrett. Surrett, third in the league in scoring this year with 32 goals and 57 points. Only Trip Livingston of the St. John Vitoes has found the back of the net more times this year than Surrett. The only 2 30-goal scorers in the league this season. As a heavy shot from the point from Boyd was off a shin pad and wide. And that will drift wide on the second attempt as it rolled over toward Rolly McCaddy. McCaddy on the spin around. And Merrick Stewart had that strike the inside of his skate blade. And it'll roll out the center. Otway cuts in. He has room. Otway! Oh, what a stop by Kirsten. Tight corners. Rebound. Scores! Allison cleans it up. And the Rebels strike first. And get out the horns, Tyne Valley. Brady Allison on a scrambling Carter Kirsten in the crease. The Cabot goalie doesn't get beat often, but when he is, it's something like that when you get him moving. And Allison makes no mistake to get the party going here for the host team with a big momentum boost here in a tough game against a strong Highlanders team. Tobin McEwen is back into the zone for it with the Rebels looking to build on that goal from Allison. But the Highlanders will take it up through center. It's going to pop away from McClellan, who is trying to go off on a rush there. And it's going to roll to McGilvery in behind the Rebels net. Now handled. That's Daniel Pigeon in behind the net. Sends it all the way up to the scorekeeper's bench at center ice. and will pop over to Sam Murray for the Cabot Highlanders. Was looking for that center to McClellan, joined there on that line with Andrew Jones. Jones in behind the play will steal the puck. He has a look in the slot area and it rolled away. And it bounced out to Sam Murray in behind the play. And as the Rebels attempted to clear it, it'll hit somebody on the bench. So an early goal for Brady Allison to open the scoring here at home for the Rebels. 1-0 on High Button Sports. Face off to the left of the Rebels net in their own zone, and it's one on the Z-zone draw by Western. Sent down the length of the ice. Allison, the goal scorer, beats the icing and takes a check from Landry. Rolls around the boards for Otway. That's where that goal started, on a rush from Otway that turned into a scramble in front of the net. Kirsten will direct that with the paddle over to his left side as Allison lays the body on a Highlander. Now sent down the ice, and Poirier gives chase, but he was on the wrong side of center, so that is going to come back down to the opposite side of the rink in the Cabot zone once we get some changes in. Western Rebels 22-8-3 on the year, 47 points in the standings, good for third of all teams. In the regular season, after the Ice Jam, they had lost just one of their final 11 or 12 games on the schedule, as Kirsten saves that off the draw. However, Western has since lost 5 straight, losing them all to the Dukes, dating back to the best of 7 Island final. And then last night's Maritime Championship opener. And it's snagged there by Callahan. Walks in, and Kirsten shuts it off. And some good rebound control to knock that off out of the way as Carter Kirsten fighting back with a couple of sharp saves here to get this game going. Collins from the point. Tried to go through the legs of Beaton. It hit another body past him. And now Tenard will carry it up to center. And pleading for an icing is the Rebels bench. They're going to get it as Beaton didn't quite get to the center ice line there for Cabot on that play with 12:34 left in the first. And the Cabot Highlanders, 26-5-2 in the season, 54 points in the standings, best of all the teams in the regular season here this year. And I got to mention another crazy stat from the Highlanders and an indication of the way they play. Only 56 goals allowed in 33 games played on the season. For comparison, the team that was the next most successful, in the goals against department was the Eastern Dukes. They allowed 82 this year. So a difference of close to 25 goals there. In a 33-game schedule, the Highlanders really know how to lock it down in their own end. And they've won a lot of games that way. They were 2-2 in the Nova Scotia Provincials, didn't make the final. And as they rolled over to an open player, with the Rebels continuing their push on here in the first half of the first period, against what is a tough Cabot Highlanders team to score on. And the Rebels have gotten that early lead. Now going down the other way. It's a foot race there. Caleb Smallman rushing back. He was going against Lucas Havercourt of Cabot. Smallman punches it up to the blue line, but no further, and returned to the corner by Poirier. McGilvery tried to get that outlet pass going. Rolls in behind the Rebels net for Ben Harris. Off the stick is Zach Goody. He couldn't handle it. Staying back in by Boyd. He tried to go upstairs on Hudson Lynch and rushing out the other way. Off the bench for Cabot is Sawyer Nadasti. Makes a pass up to Andrew Jones. Centered out front as Sam Murray was charging the net here on the top Cabot line with William McClellan joining as the third man in. And it's off the skate of Jack McDonald. McDonald recently winning a U18 AAA championship with the local Mid-Isle Matrix here. He's playing as a call-up this weekend for the Western Rebels. So getting over that championship feeling pretty quick and chasing another one here if you're Western. And it's a shot from Nadasti from the blue line, and that's covered up by Lynch easily. And Tobin McEwen, just a few moments ago for the Rebels, let one go high on Kirsten, who seems pretty dialed in for Cabot after that first goal. A tough goalie to beat as we've talked about, the goalie of the year in the Nova Scotia League. So it'll take a lot of shooting from the Rebels to beat him. And McEwen came close there. The draw is going to come down into the Highlanders zone. There's going to be a penalty assessed. Brett Boyd going to the box. For 2 minutes, I didn't catch the call, but the Western Rebels will go to the power play for the first time in this hockey game. It's won back by Western. Hudson Pino barely holds the line. It was passed right along the blue line. Ellis Callahan in the high slot position. Now back to Pino, cross ice. Looking for Sam Surratt, who's manning the far side half wall. Ace Oatway in front of the net. And it comes back to Landry in behind the net. And over to Callahan. He has to retrieve it all the way back at the Rebels blue line. Western with the second best power play in the season this year. As he walks in, an excellent opportunity by Ellis Callahan, but he whistled it high of the net. 27% the Western Rebels man advantage this year, but also a very good penalty kill from the Cabot Highlanders, 92.8% on the year, and they allowed nothing in a few penalty kills here. The backdoor pass fed for Surratt, just missed. It got away and up for McClellan into the feet of Callahan, and it comes out the center as the Rebels got a couple of quick looks in there, especially for Sam Surratt. He's looking to snap a 5-game goalless drought for the Rebels. And he'll go in behind the net. And up and over the stick of Callahan once again as the Highlanders are taking care of business here on the penalty kill. 40 seconds still left to play here on this Western power play. And an active stick there played by Sam Murray will break up the outlet pass for Cabot. And Daniel Pigeon has to backtrack in behind his own net for Western. That's going to be left there for Tobin McEwen. McEwen second in team scoring this year. He has 15 goals and 38 points on the season, tied for 8th in the league, and he'll snap that in on net for Carter Kirsten to hang on to with 8:53 still left to play here in the first period, and another 9 seconds remaining on the power play for the Rebels. The draw will come to the right of Kirsten. Connor Hudson in to take the face-off in the O-zone. He will lose the draw to Macquarie, but it's pinned up in behind the net and stuffed there. A quick play made by Ben McGregor, the Rebels captain, trying to catch Kirsten off guard at the tail end of the power play. Still another 3 seconds until Brett Boyd jumps out of the box for Cabot. So another face-off here in the Cabot zone. Hudson and Macquarie in to take the draw again. And once more, won cleanly by the Highlanders. That rolls back to Landry. And up to Caleb Smallman on the wall. And we're back to 5-on-5. Smallman from the perimeter. Snaps it up over the blocker. McGilvery holds it on the far side. And Smallman lays the body. Zach Goody getting punished there by a Highlander who's laying the shoulder in the corner. McGilvery walks in. And Kirsten, ready for that one, shoots out the left leg to boot it to the corner. Macquarie walking out of the corner with it. Gets it across the blue line. Rebels send it right back in. Going to be some sporadic changes here from both teams. As Cabot's a little caught behind their net. It'll find its way up now to Cohen Phillips, who is taken out on the play. And Caleb Smallman takes it away for Western. In front of the net is Hudson and Zach Goody. But now Cabot will come up with it once more. Macquarie skates it up the center, a 2-on-2 attack. And the shot is off the glove, barely there of Hudson Lynch, it looked like, and rolled wide of the net. 7:45 to go here in the period. Western Rebels still up. Brady Allison scoring the opening goal in this hockey game to put them up by 1 over the Highlanders. We'll take a 10-second break here. You're watching the 2026 Maritime U16 Hockey Championships on High Button Sports. Draw came in the Rebel zone and they won it. Unable to clear it though. Beaton did well to hold the line. Came over to Jones out there on that line with William McClellan, and McClellan has a tight angle now, looking for the backdoor pass potentially to his teammate Jameis Beaton, who was parked across the way. Now cutting in the other way is Allison, maybe looking for another here on this line with Ace Otway. And the call-up, Jack McDonald. Now McDonald back on the back check. He was chasing after Andrew Jones from Cabot. Now McClellan and Jones fight for possession deep in the Rebels zone. Trying to throw the body there was Brett Boyd. He has to hustle back to his point to help out his D partner, Nadasti. Boyd picks it up the middle, and that is going to hop up and over the stick of Murray and down the length of the ice for an icing charge against the Cabot Highlanders. So an entertaining day of hockey here in Tyne Valley thus far. Cabot Highlanders in a close 2-0 game over the HC Kings, a Kings team that beat the Highlanders in the provincial championships on the Kings' way to winning Nova Scotia. Got the revenge as Surratt tried to let that go through traffic. It was knocked aside. So Cabot won that first game 2-0. They led that game 1-0 for the vast majority of it. A late Andrew Jones goal made it 2-0. And then the Eastern Dukes, they were down by 3 at one point to the St. John Vitoes in the second game this afternoon. But they battled their way back. A Colin McCormick hat-trick to thank for that. And they won in a shootout 7-6. A very back-and-forth high-scoring game there between those teams. Isaac Goody tried to kick it up to his stick. He was tied up there with Boyd. And Nadasti's going to wheel in. He's away with some time and space. Cuts it toward Hudson Lynch's net. And he shut off the bottom of the goal mouth to keep that from going in. And a stretch pass attempted there for Surratt, who's trying to get in behind Nadasti the other way. But he picked it off and read the play in the neutral zone. Now Jameis Beaton will chase it in deep for the Highlanders. Is taken back the opposite way by Callahan for the Rebels. Out there on that line with Sam Surratt and Isaac Goody. It is chipped up out the center and then picked up and thrown to the corner by Brody Noy. Kirsten, very active goaltender, and behind his net, got out to leave that puck for his D-man Boyle. Now in behind the net, tight quarters. Has a good setup by Pino. Almost led to a scoring chance for Isaac Goody as he got that one in on top of the net, and Kirsten had to make a good save. Lucas Havercourt rubbed out along the boards, but still made the play up to Daniel Landry. Landry on his horse, picks it up at the hash marks. Ran out of real estate there, and that's going to roll behind him and over to Pino, who takes a tumble in behind his own goal. Havercourt battling for it in behind the Rebels' goal. Him and Macquarie out here on that line for the Cabot Highlanders, along with Cohen Phillips. They have to tag up, though, as they were on the delayed offside. Rolls over to McEwen and drop back to Noy, who goes D-to-D. Now throwing up diagonally, finds its way to McEwen. Rolled in behind the net, as Cabot will take a now start with Matthew Beaton. And now puck up for contention on the far side. Scooped up by Pino in the slot. And Tobin McEwen, he's had a couple chances up there in the high slot area that Kirsten has been all over for Cabot. And the Rebels managed to keep the puck in. Ty Collins with a good active stick. And it's backhanded up to center by Phillips for the Highlanders. Both teams with a Phillips in the lineup tonight. Ben Phillips on D for the Western Rebels. And Colin Phillips, the forward for Cabot. Now for Cabot, Andy Murray, one of two Murrays on the Cabot team, along with Sam, as the Rebels squeeze that into Kirsten's crease, and a shot from range. Ty Collins slapped that, and a Highlander came across there on the block. It was Andrew Jones who looked to get that in the area of the hand, and dodges the check there as Caleb Smallman rolling off the Rebels bench. 3 3/4 to play here in the first period. Still 1-0 score in favor of the tournament hosts. Comes back to the line, played in down low by Nadasti. In behind the goal for Jones. Jones and McClellan going back and forth here for this Highlanders line. Jones will walk a little higher and goes to Boyd from the point and off the stick of Zach Goody, and that actually broke the lumber on that one, so he has to hustle quick to the Rebels bench. We've seen a couple broken sticks today. The players don't like it. You only get so many sticks. So we're not playing in the NHL. And sent up the center, and Brett Boyd will pick it up at the red line. Dumped in, takes a heavy check there from Caleb Smallman. Smallman with a physical first period for the Rebels, laying the body. Looking for a more physical response, perhaps, after The Dukes handled them pretty good last night, and a 5-1 Dukes win in the tournament opener. Otway dances in behind the goal, over to McGilvery, high slot, rebound, scores! Looks like Otway got a stick on it, or maybe it'll be McGilvery. All the same though, 2-0 Rebels. And McGilvery is the first flyby by the Rebels bench. So we will say that goal went to him. We'll know here from the PA in a second. But an absolute chaotic bounce in front of Carter Kirsten's net. And it gets to the back door and goes off something or someone. And in to the back of the Highlanders' goal. So 2-0 Western here in the first period later on in the opening frame. A big start here for the Western Rebels. And the Highlanders now playing from 2 behind. Have to come up for an answer here against the host team in Tyne Valley. All the way in to throw that check for Cabot was McCaddy coming in with heat. It's picked up at center and sent in by Boyle. McGilvery, the goal scorer, will play it up for Brady Allison, the other goal scorer. Now Ellis Callahan has a step in all alone. Oh, what a glove save, or was it? It came right back down in between the wickets of Carter Kirsten, who managed to rob that one on Ellis Callahan, who is looking for another one in his long line of goals. Callahan scored 13 times this year. And speaking of how often these players score, Luke McGilvery, just 2 in the regular season for the Western Rebels. So, you know, when he finds the back of the net for Western, it's a pretty big occasion, and I would say the Maritimes are a pretty big occasion. Ben Harris racing in behind the net here for Western. Banging away at it for Cabot now is Spencer Poirier. Poirier and Cade Tenard giving chase. Tenard, and the shot from Beaton was kicked away by Hudson Lynch, and the net was dislodged on the play. And that is a disruptive Cabot Highlanders forecheck. We saw that here in Game 1 against HC Kings. We've seen it all season. A big part of their formula. As Jameis Beaton had a grade A chance on top of Hudson Lynch in the slot area, but was unable to beat the goaltender. It's won by the Highlanders off the faceoff. Beaton again, it looked like getting that one off from the wall, but Lynch stood tall on that. Tenard crunched up along the wall there by Collins, will race in behind the Rebels net to try and get that one out. And it is Hail Mary to all the way up to the neutral zone. Went very high up, somehow managed to stay and play. A penalty coming up now as the Rebels touch up. So a tripping call will be the verdict. A Cabot player looked to be down there. So it looks like the Highlanders will go to their first man advantage of the hockey game with 1:13 left to play in the clock here in the first period. Brady Allison, the guilty party on that tripping minor. And Cabot has sported a fairly strong power play all year long. 21.4%, the third best clip in the Nova Scotia Under-16 League. As McClellan wins the face-off cleanly back to Murray, and the Highlanders get set up. McClellan looking for Murray, got a little knotted up there with the linesman, but managed to keep it in. McClellan pushed off the play there as him and Murray have been going back and forth with it. Over to the far side for Landry, who's hanging out at the top of the circle. Murray down to McClellan. He has some room now. Tried to go crossways for Landry. He kept it in though, but got some pressure from Ellis Callahan, the penalty killer. And Callahan will muscle it out to center ice. Murray's going to take it back in himself for the Highlanders. Havercourt and Jones give chase in the corner, and they both hit a Rebel down low there. And he's pretty banged up. Looks like Daniel Pigeon was in the middle of that puck battle. And Jones will carry it in behind the net. 25 seconds remaining in the period. Another 1:10 on the Highlanders power play. From the corner, Murray couldn't get that through to the middle of the ice. McClellan tried to roll it back and taken by Callahan, who will go for a bit of an extended skate up through the neutral zone and will float that in on Kirsten. 55 seconds now left to go on the power play as this period will expire with the Western Rebels up by a pair. Goals from Brady Allison and Luke McGilvery in the opening 20 minutes of this one. And that's where we stand after 20 minutes here at the Cavendish France Community Event Center. The Western Rebels leading by a 2-0 score. You're watching the 2026 Maritime U16 AAA Hockey Championships here on High Button Sports. Stick around for the second period coming up in about 10 minutes here in Tyne Valley. And hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tyne Valley. You're watching the 2026 Under 16 AAA Maritime Hockey Championships between the Cabot Highlanders and the Western Rebels. In this one, after 20 minutes of play, the Rebels come out to a 2-0 lead. Goals in the first frame from Brady Allison and Luke McGilvery to get the party started here on home ice for the Rebels, who are looking for a big bounce-back win after dropping their tournament opener here last night against the Eastern Dukes. The Cabot Highlanders trying to keep things rolling here in their 2-game day on their schedule early in their Maritime Championship schedule. They played earlier today, and they're looking to find that extra boost here to come back within a goal or two of the Rebels here, only down by a pair here at this juncture of the hockey game. And as we've seen today, anything can happen at this level of championship hockey. Of course, we saw with the Dukes earlier today, down by 3 on a couple of occasions. Completed the comeback for the win. And the Cabot finds themselves down by 2 as we get ready to face off here in the second period. This will be the third of 3 games here today. Starting off tomorrow's action, the Kings and the St. John Vitoes will go head-to-head, followed by the Highlanders playing the Eastern Dukes tomorrow afternoon at 3:30, and then the Western Rebels will go head-to-head in the final game of the day against HC Kings. As it is sent down the ice here for the Western Rebels. Back to retrieve that is Andy Murray, the defenseman, out there on that pairing with Daniel Landry. And the Cabot Highlanders will secure another zone entry here. They had a shot off just a few seconds into the new period here as Landry will grab that. Sent for McLennan. Now Murray from long range. Blocked there by the Rebels. Ben McGregor, the captain. He's up with Callahan. Lets it go from the point area just across the blue line. That whistles up high off the glass. And sent down on the other way, almost a counterattack materializing for the Cabot Highlanders as Jones and McLennan will race up with it. And Jones will beat his man to the puck, going up against Jack McDonald. And McDonald will take down Jones after the fact, after he let the puck go in the direction of Hudson Lynch and wide. It'll come out in front of the penalty boxes, and it's off the leg of Rolly McCaddy and in for the Rebels, who will go in offside early in the frame. 18:42 left to play here in the second period, and Cabot with a couple of good shifts here to get the ball rolling here in the new frame. Keeping the puck down in the western zone, looking to generate some shot chances on Hudson Lynch, as it'll come in between the feet of one Highlander, and it's a shot on net where Carter Kirsten was prepared for it. Kirsten hangs on to it as a couple of words exchanged between Tobin McEwen and some Cabot Highlanders behind the play. We're going to face off to the left of Kirsten. And the Ellis Callahan line is out there with Sam Surratt to his right, Isaac Goody to his left. And he's going to win the draw, and that just zipped past the right pad of Kirsten as Ty Collins let that go low to the ice from the point. It just barely stays inside on the close side. McCaddy and Havercourt banging away at it for the Cabot Highlanders. It's going to skip past an outstretched Daniel Pigeon, returning to his possession on the blue line. Throwing up the middle of the ice, that is going to shoot off the leg of one Western Rebel and down the ice and behind their net. Ty Collins trying to shake off the pressure on the forecheck from Cabot. It's going to be sent up out the center with a little too much mustard on it for the Western Rebels, so it'll be an icing call deemed against the host team here early in the new period. Both teams playing game 2 of their tournament. And remember, in this tournament, it's a 5-team setup. Every team plays each other once, so 4 games per team. And there's no crossover or semifinal or anything of the type. After the round robin is played, the top 2 teams in the standings will be the ones slotted into the gold medal game on Sunday at noon here in Tyne Valley. As Landry bobbles that puck in between his skates and will roll it slowly along the boards on the close side to Murray. And now we'll go up for Jones, joined to his left by McClellan. Andrew Jones tried to shimmy shake off Collins. Coming in with a big hit attempt there was Surrett, who went down, and as did Ty Collins, trying to check Andrew Jones, who can take a lot of physicality in down low as a very physical style grind type player for this Cabot Highlanders club, and also adds lots of scoring here into their coffers as well. It's going to be a face-off in the Rebel zone to the right of the goaltender Lynch. The shots in that first period favoring the Rebels by an 18-5 margin, so Western getting a lot of shooting opportunities in on Cabot early on, and maybe not as many as the Highlanders would like for themselves, as that was a spinning puck off the side of the goal to Lynch's glove side. He had slid over, anticipating the shot to the opposite end of the net. And Noy will have to race in to chase that one. Into the feet of Murray and up for Otway in front of the Highlanders bench. Going in one-on-one against Jones. Jones pushing him good and throwing a big body there on Ben McGregor, as the Highlanders will corral that puck outside the zone and throw it back in. Trying to slow things down for Otway on the right wing side. He's joined by McGregor up the middle and Allison out far. And waiting up for Allison. And he missed the net with that one as Carter Kirsten was streamed right across trying to get the blocker on that one. And there was a target there for Allison to lift that up into the top of the net for a second of the game. But he can't hit it as the puck will roll up around the boards and into the mesh here at the Cavendish Farms Community Events Center, as an excellent 3-on-2 opportunity there for the Rebels, who have been mostly outplayed here by the Highlanders to begin the first 3.5 minutes of this second period. Western will have it in the Cabot zone. Poking at that was Smallman. But it'll come out the center. McCaddy in the middle of that puck battle gets it back to his teammate Boyd at the line, and Nadasti has to hustle to pick that one up as it was out of his reach. And Zach Goody thought he had held the line there. No, he didn't. A delayed offside against the Rebels. That is hammered out and hammered on by Ty Collins, who threw the body on Nadasti, who was heading off the ice for the Highlanders. Big hit there on open ice from the Rebels' assistant captain. And now numbers the other way for Western. Along the ice there, Zach Goody shot that, aiming for the bottom corner on Carter Kirsten. Now Hudson giving chase in behind the goal. Up for Collins. Stops up on the pinch at the top of the circle. Now Ben Harris, top of the slot. And that'll roll off the stick of Kirsten in net. Smallman throwing the body. Rolly McCaddy jammed away in there and will go down. Boyd gets the puck back, though, for the Highlanders, who will look to get it up the ice. And Phillips tried to get a stick on that for Cabot, but it hopped all the way over and no touch of any means. So it's going to be an icing call against the Cabot Highlanders here. Still early in the second period. Cabot had a good first few shifts. But now the Western Rebels steadily starting to chip away here with a couple of odd man rushes, keeping things interesting in the Cabot Highlanders zone. That's where the faceoff will be. It's going to be won by Jack McDonald. As mentioned, the affiliate player, stepping in to play a big role here so far in this game for the Western Rebels, even being played here quite regularly at center by Coach Brett Glant. Hudson Pino lifts that up through the middle of the ice. It's going to be corralled by the defenseman Matthew Beaton and sent up the center here, where Phillips will walk in with it. Over the Havercourt, toward the middle of the net and racing to the back post was James Macquarie looking for the backdoor play. It's going to bounce away from the defenseman, and Pino now 2-on-1 up with McEwen. Pino looking high side, rebound came away quickly almost to the blocker side of Kirsten where McEwen was waiting. But another chance with numbers up there for the Rebels, who are really pushing for that 3-0 goal here in the second frame. Daniel Pigeon trying to corral that for Western. Gets a little help there from his winger. Will fire it across from McGilvery, the scorer of the 2-0 goal here for Western. Will fire that in from center right into the mitt of Carter Kirsten, who will opt for the cover-up with 14 and 10 seconds remain in the period. Tobin McEwen in the middle of Some fireworks in after the play. A pair of Highlanders were tied up there in behind Kirsten's net. Nothing more out of that, though, and the linesman will escort each team out of that scuffle. Now a draw to the left to Kirsten. The Ellis-Callahan line takes the ice in the O-zone for the Rebels, and he'll win it. That's off the inside skate of Sam Surratt. Surratt snaps that through. There was a spinning puck. It rolled through the goal crease of the Highlanders, but went wide. Now Harris from the point. Rebound. Isaac Goody was a step late to it, and Cabot will get it up and out the center. That's up over the head of Harris, and up with speed the other way is Spencer Poirier. Poirier gets to it first. Harris checked him, but the puck made its way over to Tenard for Cabot. Tenard down to Poirier in tight quarters. Tried to spin off the play. James Beaton, the third forward here on this Highlanders line as they get established down in below the Rebels' net. Callahan swung down the backhand over to Noy, but he lost it. Poirier put it back down low. Now Beaton going and banging away at it too with Tenard. And that'll find his way up to Sam Surratt, looking for that cross ice pass to Isaac Goody. And now Ellis-Callahan leads it back for Goody. Has a chance, leads for Callahan. In the close side corner, tried to go up top, out of the reach of Noy. And he has to chase after that to his own zone, as both teams will get in near full changes, include all 5 skaters for the Cabot Highlanders. Now will hit his man up at the far side blue line. It rolled off the tape of Otway. And now Cabot will take it in. One-on-one opportunity on the backhand. And taking a tumble. No arm in the air. After that one is Ben Harris, the defenseman for the Rebels, laid right out. And a good opportunity for Andrew Jones for Cabot. But he couldn't get enough of an opening for a quality shot in on the goaltender, Hudson Lynch. And Harris is posted up along the wall. Big check thrown there by Jones. And backhanded out to center by Ben McGregor for the Rebels. Now Noy goes up off the wall, and Ben Boyd will return the favor, rims it around the dash along the ice. Brady Allison jams it out to center once more and is returned to the corner by Nadasti. That might have struck the linesman on the way in, but he looks all right. Now Ace Otway will spring Brady Allison. A perfect pass up with McGregor. 2-on-1 and gobbled up by Carter Kirsten, who has been solid since that last Rebels goal. Has caught everything that the Rebels have thrown at him here early in this second period. 2-0 the lead for Western on High Button Sports. So the draw will remain in the Highlanders zone. Hudson Lynch in to take that one for the Western Rebels. Wins it a little too cleanly. Or pardon me, that was Connor Hudson. Hudson Lynch is the goaltender. Well, a couple of Hudsons on the Rebels team, as Hudson will carry it in and in front of the net, trying to fool Kirsten with a close quarters deflection up into the Cabot Highlanders logo on Kirsten's chest. And Connor Hudson will prepare for another face-off. Caleb Smallman to his left wing here, as the Highlanders will change up. The James Macquarie line comes on, and Macquarie comes in to win the face-off in the Highlanders zone. Cabot looking for a response here in the second period. They've had a couple of chances here, but the last few minutes the Rebels have been pushing back. Collins rubbed out along the boards by Macquarie. Gets it to his teammate. That's high up over the head of Smallman. Was looking for the spring from McEwen. It's past him. No icing on the play. Perhaps that was touched. And it's sent up the wall. Matthew Beaton was first on that puck and will walk through the slot area in the Highlanders zone. He has to go back to get it. Beaton and Andy Murray on that pairing. There's a broken stick line out there on the ice. I'm not sure from whom it belonged to, but it's sitting out there in the Cabot Highlanders end of the hockey rink. Ty Collins sends that up through center. Beaton shimmies off the check and gets the puck back on his backhand. Now McCaddy gave chase right off the Highlanders bench. And now up again with numbers are the Western Rebels. Got Pino on the trail and McEwen toward the net front. It's Connor Hudson still out there trying to center that pass out front. McEwen will get on his horse and cycle that back down, and Pino trying to catch up with James Macquarie from the Highlanders. And it's taken back here by McDonald for the Rebels. Pino cycled back in down low for Tobin McEwen. McEwen checked out along the boards by Macquarie. Macquarie takes a tumble though. McEwen still on the puck. Now Andy Murray will try to take him out of the play, and he does. McEwen falls into the backside of the goal cage. Pino will play that up and dodges the check at the same time. Now Noy, a shooting lane attempt. That is off a body in front. Hit McEwen, rebound. And he was looking up high side on Kirsten as the puck missed wide of the net. Funny bounce off of Stanchion, rolls back to McEwen. Some sustained pressure here for roughly the last minute from the Rebels as Noy managed to hold the line, but only for a second. And finally, McEwen and co. have to retreat at the end of a momentous shift for the Rebels, who are trying to keep the Cabot Highlanders on their heels here at the midway point of the second period. No icing on this, as the Cabot Highlanders will fully change up after a long shift for them. And it's stolen down low by McCaddy. Now Landry, and he fanned on the shot. He had some time and space, but it was a spinning puck. Second attempt that's kicked away by Harris. Up for Isaac Goody. It'll be enough to exit the zone. It pops out on Jameis Beaton. He will slap it around the bumper, and it's handled by the Rebels down low. That is off the skate of Jack McDonald, but he was on the close side of the red line, and it'll be sent down the ice on an icing against the Western Rebels, and a draw back in their zone. 9:03 left to play here in the second period. Still a 2-0 lead in favor of the Western Rebels. A pair of goals in the first frame, yet to be any scoring here in the second period. It's Sam Surratt picking it up through the middle of the ice. Surratt, the team's leading scorer this year, has found the back of the net 32 times on the campaign. 57 points as well. Only Kaysen Cooling and Tripp Livingston have scored more points than him this year. As Landry picks that up for the Highlanders and gave it away. There's the Surratt on the close side. Tried to center it for Goody. Third man on the line, racing up after it. Ellis Callahan centers that line. He had to fill in for Ben Harris on defense, and now Harris gets into the battle in the corner. Will make the outlet pass perfectly up for Goody on his tape. Isaac Goody going in 1-on-2. Needs some help there from Callahan, who will curl in down low, and now Callahan has it, or did he, as it rolled by him, and James Boyle will retrieve that for the Highlanders. The Rebels back to work in the Cabot zone. Isaac Goody up high in the zone on a tip. Surratt tried to redirect that ever so slightly past Kirsten, but missed the net. Now Collins left it for Pigeon from distance off the skate of Landry, who has been sacrificing the body all day here. We remember Daniel Landry with a couple of big blocks late in that Kings game to preserve that 2-0 lead. As it's knocked up and out of play by Cabot. 7:49 to play in the second period. 2-0 Rebels here on High Button Sports. Jack McDonald in to take the ozone draw for the Rebels. He will line up against Cade Tenard, and Tenard wins the draw back clean for the Highlanders, or maybe not so clean, as McDonald is on it now, joined there in the corner by Hudson Pino. Jack McDonald walks out. Pigeon high in the zone, up for Collins, D-to-D from the point, and that took a bobble and rolled wide of the blocker side of Kirsten. Pigeon holds his own, kicks it up to his stick. Now Tobin McEwen will drive it in behind the goal. Pursued there by a pair of Highlanders challengers, and Cabot will take the puck back down for themselves. McDonald playing that down and low for McEwen. It was up and over his head. Almost a high sticking call there, but now a penalty call coming up. I believe this one might come to the Rebels. We're going to see here once we get a stoppage in play. Nobody really had it there, as it was tied up in a puck battle down in the corner. A hooking minor is the verdict. And that will be the call coming up against Tobin McEwen. And the Cabot Highlanders will go back to the power play for the second time in this game, with just over 7 to go here in the middle period. Draw coming to the left of Hudson Lynch. William McClellan in to take the face off against Ellis Callahan. McClellan's going to get tossed from the draw. Andrew Jones now coming in to take it. In the Rebel zone, and Western wins the faceoff. Ellis Callahan had got it. And it's going to skip its way up to Ben McGregor, who will clear it down the ice. And Kirsten has to jump up and out of the net to get that one. Landry will lead the zone entry on the quarterback for this Highlanders power play. Looking for a goal here in the second period to try and bring the lead a little closer in. It's a nice move individually by McClellan into the slot area. Couldn't pull off the shot, but maintains possession. Landry walks him down low to Jones. Tight quarters. Lynch shuts the door. Rebound. Loose in the slot. And rolled out of the crease. Oh, so close for Cabot on that one, as it was chaos in front of the net mouth of Hudson Lynch's net. Going to roll back to McClellan. The pressure continues. Landry looking for the shot attempt in front. Plays down low in the slot area. Havercourt couldn't pull the trigger as Callahan tied him up. Havercourt races in behind the goal. Up for Jones. Landry on the close side. Swings it across for Andy Murray. Returns to Landry. And it came across the line as the return pass from Murray went across the ice. And Landry's going to talk to the referee on that. Or perhaps he was talking to Zach Goody of the Western Rebels after the whistle, as that barely squeaks out on the Highlanders there with another 54 seconds to play on this second period power play for Cabot. Macquarie in to take the draw. Second unit out on the ice for the Highlanders on this power play. Going up against forwards Connor Hudson and Ben McGregor, killing for the Rebels. And McGregor will scoop that up and go for a little bit of a skate to kill some time. Going up against Nadasti from Cabot. Will chip it around Boyd and will take it right to the corner and will pin it up along the wall with Boyd hanging off his back. The two captains are still tied up in the corner. Now they come loose. Nadasti trying to shake off the pressure from Connor Hudson and will throw it off the glass and around on the box out for Cabot, and a long-range shot. There's a pair of Highlanders lying in the slot. Looked like Macquarie got caught up there and finally got back to his feet. He now has it in behind the Western net. Macquarie up top for Nadasti, going in one-on-one against Connor Hudson. Now to the far side from Boyd. Hit the side of the net with that one as it rolled along the ice, and we're back to 5-on-5. Maybe a chance here for Ace Otway. He's up in behind the play with it. 2-on-1 forms. Pressure there. Hudson stopped by Kirsten. A showstopper for the Highlanders netminder. Challenged with a breakaway. And Connor Hudson cannot beat the Highlanders stopper. And there's a reason he was named the top goalie of the year here in the Nova Scotia Under-16 League. And it's moments like that late in this game where he's keeping his team in it with 5 left to go in the second. Ellis Callahan wins the draw. Thrown right on top of Kirsten. And a scramble in the crease. Where is it? Carter Kirsten found it to his right side, and he dove right on top of it as all of the Rebels forwards converged on top of the crease in the netmouse scramble in front of Kirsten, who still managed to make another huge save after all of that chaos. The top line for the Rebels really pushing here on this shift. Surratt playing the right wing side and Isaac Goody on the left. Ellis Callahan up the middle over to Isaac Goody. Up to the point for McGilvery. Blocked away by Kirsten. Will fight it off to one of his Highlanders forwards. Noy, though, holds the line, but only briefly as it's chopped up into the netting and out of play. Looks like the face-off will remain inside, though, as it struck a Highlander's stick on the way up. 4.5 to go here in the period. No scoring here in this second period. The Rebels just killing off a Cabot Highlanders power play, and their man out of the box sprung on a breakaway, and Kirsten coming up with another huge save. He has been solid here in this second period to keep the Highlanders in this game as Macquarie takes it down, threw it in front to Lynch. He returned that to the corner, and another center. Nobody home at the point for the Cabot Highlanders, and James Boyle will have to hustle across to save that puck for his team. Macquarie over to Landry. Big defenseman walks around. Defenseman of the year in the Nova Scotia League. Leads the team in scoring this season. 8 goals and 28 points in a full schedule play here in the regular season. Also a strong provincial championships in the Nova Scotia competition for Daniel Landry. Had 2 goals and 5 points in that one, and also won top defenseman honors at the provincial championships. So you know you're dealing with one of the best here if you're going up against Daniel Landry of the Cabot Highlanders. 3:47 remaining in the second frame. Face-off coming up in the Rebel zone. They still lead by 2, but the Highlanders will win it in the offensive end. That is thrown down right on top of Hudson Lynch, who will fight that off to his right side. And that's chased down into the corner. Jameis Beaton trying to fish that one loose, going up against McGregor from the Rebels. And Ace Otway will take it down toward the Highlanders net. Ace Otway joined there from distance by Allison. Tried to throw the one-hand center in. It goes wide. Rebound. Harris fired that on. That was almost tipped in on the back door by Allison. Another one from the perimeter. Knocked aside by Kirsten. Ben McGregor handles that along the wall. Tried to get that up to Otway, but it'll finally come out as the Highlanders will punch it past the blue line. Harris on the re-entry. Gets it to McGregor. Off the shin pads. Rebound. And Kirsten handles that off the toe of his pad. And will cover that up for the save. Now 2:59 remaining in the period. Both teams getting some changes in. The Rebels are back in action again here tomorrow night, same time, playing the HC Kings, the Nova Scotia champions. Meanwhile, Cabot squaring off against the 2-0 Eastern Dukes in tomorrow's mid-afternoon matchup with a puck drop of 3:30 in that one. Cabot looking to advance to 2-0 themselves, and if they do, that would make for a potential championship game preview. But they have a lot of work to do here right now against the host Rebels. Down by 2 themselves. As it chipped up the wall, it gets out to center ice. Connor Hudson slaps that in along the surface, back in, where Kirsten will tee that up for his defenseman. They'll also slow it down for the Rebels as Hudson will muscle in, and he is dumped. A huge hit there by Ben Boyd, the Highlanders captain, dropping the shoulder on Hudson. Boyd walks it up through the middle, and 3-on-2 the other way. Jameis Beaton leading it down the ice for the Highlanders, but there's some tired Highlanders. So Rolly McCaddy chases it down into the western zone. And it's picked up in the corner by McClellan, looking for that center to Jones. That McClellan-Jones duo has been causing heck all tournament long for the Cabot Highlanders. In on both of those goals last game. Thrown in toward Hudson Lynch's net. It's off the side of the cage and wide. Corralled at the point by Nadasti. Rather, it went by him. He's in a foot race with Smallman. Nadasti rubs out his man as Smallman collides with Landry. Landry now has possession. 95 seconds left to play here in the second period. Landry tried to dance through. Instead, McClellan has to backtrack and leaves the puck off for Boyle. He'll dance around some coverage. Up for Jones, and some great hand-eye coordination there from Jack McDonald on the back check. And send up the other way, and now Tobin McEwen had a little bit of time, but he's cornered out by Boyle. He's going to wait for some help. Pino in there into the corner now. He has it. Waiting for Jack McDonald to help him out as well. As Pino is pinned up along the boards there by Highlander. McEwen held the line and lets a quick snapper go. Seen all the way through from Kirsten. Some late pressure here in front. McEwen scores! Gets the centering pass from Pino, and a late second period marker for the Rebels will extend the lead to 3. And when McEwen has had those chances all game for the Rebels from the slot area, and he gets just close enough to beat Kirsten to the glove side. 15 goals, 38 points on the campaign for Tobin McEwen. And he finds the back of the net here for his first of the Maritime Championships. And a big one late in the second for the Western Rebels. Now up 3 on the regular season champions the Cabot Highlanders. Cabot's Murray picks it up at his own blue line, sends it in. Only 30 seconds remaining in the second period. They'll try to find a late one here, though, as Boyd punches that in low. Luke McGilvery slows it down and comes to Pigeon on the close side. First line out here now for the Rebels. Skips up and over the stick of Otway. As a matter of fact, it's Callahan, Otway, McGregor on the line, so Western is juggling up the line combinations a little bit here late in the second period, and some physicality down below the Highlanders net to end the second period here in Tyne Valley. A late one from Tobin McEwen is the only one in the middle frame, and after 40 minutes, 3-0 to score for the host Western Rebels against the Cabot Highlanders. You're watching the 2026 Under-16 Maritime Hockey Championships here in Tyne Valley on High Button Sports. Stick around for the third period. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so for the third. And hello, everybody, and welcome back to High Button Sports. You're watching the 2026 Under 16 AAA Maritime Hockey Championships here this weekend in Tyne Valley, Prince Edward Island. After 2 periods of play, the Western Rebels add another to their lead, courtesy of Tobin McEwen, and they find themselves up by a 3-0 score heading into the final 20 minutes of regulation. Already seen this today, a late second period goal to make it a 3-goal lead. The St. John Vitoes did that earlier today, but couldn't hang on thanks to a incredible, impressive comeback from the Eastern Dukes in that game and a shootout result. So I'm not alluding to anything here, but I am saying that they should never say never, as we're in for a thrilling finish to this one here with the Rebels 20 minutes away from win number 1 in their title march for the Maritime Championship here on home ice. Western Rebels in the black and green uniforms to your left, and the Cabot Highlanders in the blue and whites. Poking out through the legs of Landry. And now taken up the other way by Ace Oatway. He'll back off, tried to let that shot go past the defenseman Boyle, and Boyle with not only a great shot block, but lays the body in on Oatway too behind the play. Andrew Jones enters the zone. Going to go into the corner there. Now giving chase is McClellan. He's at the end of his shift, so he'll hustle for the bench here. 50 seconds into the new period on the fresh ice here in Tyne Valley. Hudson Pino will chuck that into the corner. Going to pursue Macquarie, who now had the puck on the stick, and it's going to bounce away. Colin Phillips walks in, the backhand in front of Lynch, and it doesn't quite get to him. But the Highlanders will establish pressure in the low. Andy Murray lets it go up high, and it hit a body, and it almost fell down behind Lynch. Rebound sent back directly toward the net as Jack McDonald is trying to jam that one out of the zone for the Rebels, and he does punch it across the blue line. But Colin Phillips stepping back in with it now for the Highlanders. It's stopped up, and now McEwen will go for a skate. Joined there by McDonald. McEwen, rebound to the far side. It got away from Kirsten. And onto the ice now is McGilvery walking to the slot area. It's going to roll off his tape. McEwen in behind the net. He just scored here a few minutes ago. Game time speaking, as the Cabot Highlanders will skate it up to center. That's Spencer Poirier taking it down into the corner alone as his teammates were changing. That goes in behind McEwen into the close side corner. He's going to throw Poirier to the ice. Bit of pushing and shoving there between the team's respective forwards. And it's going to pop out to Matthew Beaton at center ice. One of 2 Beatons on the team. Matthew on the fence. Jameis wearing number 82 on the wing for Cabot. And stripped there by Sam Surratt. He's up with a little bit of speed. Has to slow up going in 1-on-3. He's trailed there by teammate Isaac Goody. He's going to skate after it now in the corner into the feet of Poirier, and Isaac Goody trying to hold the line for the Rebels, but it's going to ricochet up and into the Highlanders bench for a stoppage of play here early in the third period. So both teams getting a couple of looks to start this period off. Highlanders looking to mount a 3-goal comeback here and make things interesting here toward the end of this one at the Maritime Championships. Draw one back by Daniel Landry. He's going to make the dish up to Sam Murray. Murray on the zone entry is looking to center that to Ryan McGinnis. It was out of his reach. Landry pinches in, but it's going to beat him. Now Ellis Callahan will skate back out the other way. Counterattack formulates for the Rebels. Is bumped off the puck there nicely by Boyle, and he'll wheel up the ice with it. Boyle joined there to the left by some teammates, including Spencer Poirier and Jameis Beaton. Centered in front in the feet of Poirier, spins and fires. And Ben Harris gets down to block that one for the Rebels. Nice move by Landry, and off a body in front. Beaton jamming at it. Hudson Lynch found it through the chaos, and will kick it up out to the line. Isaac Goody now gains center. Thought about going in 1-on-1. He's challenging Boyle to it. Down in the corner for the Cabot Highlanders. And bounced around, and off the bench is Connor Hudson. Hudson walks in low in behind the Highlanders net. He's going to beat Landry to it. And now the hustle will continue, and down low as Smallman throws the body there on the Cabot defenseman in behind the goal. Now a 2-on-2 battle, and the puck comes to a freeze. Play will carry on as Connor Hudson finally wriggled it loose for the Rebels. Pinching in now is Pigeon, looking to throw that toward Kirsten's net front area. And the Cabot Highlanders attempt to get it out the other way, and Ty Collins will throw that into the diagonal corner, and that time the Highlanders will throw it up and over the glass and out of play with 15:56 remaining here on the clock in the third period. This rink opened up in 2021-2022. That year they hosted their first Atlantic Hockey Championship, the U18 Female Hockey Championship, a tournament in which the Northern Subway Selects won to make their way to the SO Cup. And eerily similar, this year in Charlottetown, it's the first time that that particular tournament came back to PEI since it was played here in Tyne Valley. And again, the Northern Subway Selects, representing the Antigonish area, from which the Cabot Highlanders also represent, win that tournament. So the Selects on their way back to the SO Cup as a result of that. And what a tradition of success that program has built up in the Antigonish area. As Pino skates in with it, tried to snap it to the blocker side of Kirsten, and it's wide. So all that to say, this is the second major regional championship hosted by the new rink here at the Cavendish Farms Community Events Center. Rebuilt after the Tyne Valley Community Sports Center burnt down around Christmas 2019. Thanks to some fundraising and some great community efforts as a result, made it possible for the local rink here in Tyne Valley to be rebuilt. Now the Rebels play here for the third season in a row. As it's thrown to the back door there for Sam Surratt. He got handcuffed there. He couldn't get the one-timer that he wanted. Now tried to center it in front. It's going to elude Brody Noy, the defenseman for the Rebels. He's going to spin and fire that in behind Kirsten's net. He comes out of the goal to play it up for Matthew Beaton. Beaton up to his winger. It's going to hit Andrew Jones through the middle of the ice, and he will slap that down into the corner. He was on the correct side of center, though, so no icing as a result. As the William McClellan line jumps onto the ice here for the Cabot Highlanders, looking for an answer here in the third frame. And they will force the Rebels to ice the puck with 14 1/4 left on the clock. It's a battle of two of the three stingiest defensive teams in the league. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the Highlanders have only allowed 56 goals all year in the regular season. The Rebels have only allowed 87, which is the third best mark in that category, league-wide. And the Rebels also have the second most goals league-wide with 141. The only team score more than them, the Eastern Dukes, who have found the back of the net 144 times in 33 games this year. And the Dukes did a lot of scoring here earlier this afternoon. 6 times plus the shootout winner to down the Vitoes in another high-scoring one. The Vitoes themselves, the third highest-scoring team in the league. 132 goals this year for the New Brunswick representatives. As Cabot is posted up in their own end here. Some good forechecking going on from the Rebels, but now McClellan will break up through the middle with it. He's joined there by Havercourt, but Ty Collins is out on a rush and some speed. Is challenged there by Boyle and dumped to the ice by the Cabot defenseman. And now a scramble in the net front area, thrown right in front. McGregor was jamming for it in close proximity to Carter Kirsten. And it's returned to the corner now where Brady Allison picks it up. Allison had the first goal way back in the opening frame to give the Rebels the lead. So it still stands as the go-ahead goal here for Western, as Cabot's yet to find the back of the net in this one. And it's slapped high off the glass, and an icing call committed again by the Western Rebels, this time with under 13 to play in the third frame. Both teams with a single game tomorrow. Cabot facing off against the Eastern Dukes. And the Rebels taking on Kings HC from Sackville, Nova Scotia. Connor Hudson out to center. Goes in against Daniel Landry and beats him. Hudson tied up there by Landry and behind the play. Recovered on the back check and took the puck away. He tried to clear that but rode up his stick. And it's up into the mesh and out of play. 12:25 left to play here in the third period. Rebels hanging on to a 3-goal lead here in Tyne Valley on High Button Sports. Face-off coming deep in Highlanders territory here. Connor Hudson in on the draw. Goes up against James Macquarie, and Macquarie won it back for the Highlanders, and now they're up the center with it. That's Brett Boyd. The Highlanders captain snapped that in the direction of the net, and going to the back door was Sam Murray, but he got knotted up. And now this time Hudson going back the other way. Got tangled up there with teammate Zach Goody as they were both attempting to enter the Highlanders zone. It rolls back to the line. Picked up by Sam Murray at center ice. He's crunched along the wall there by Zach Goody. And Goody will join his teammates inside the Rebel zone. So Highlanders will start smashing and going at it down low. Ryan McGinnis threw that toward the net. Out there on that line with Spencer Poirier and Sam Murray. Poirier taken down in behind the play as the Rebels were changing up. 11.5 now on the clock, and a collision in behind the goal. Zach Goody throwing some more body here for the Rebels. Ben Harris backpedaling. Pressured there closely by Cade Tenard. It rolls off the stick of Tenard and to his own blue line, and it's dumped in by Jack McDonald. Now breaking up the other way is James Beaton. Returned to the corner by some tired Rebels at defense. So it's handled by Matthew Beaton and played in behind the net for the defenseman Nadasti, who takes a bump there from McDonald. Pino headed at center ice, but only for a moment. D for the Highlanders. James Beaton in chase, but snagged by Tobin McEwen, and he's into the end with it. Pino lets it go from the perimeter and floats into the glove, an easy one for Carter Kirsten, who will bring a stop to play here with 10.5 left in the third period. Both teams will be midway through their Maritime Championships after this one. The Rebels still yet to play the Kings and the Vitoes. Cabot still left to play the Vitoes as well, and then the Dukes. So a big final 2 games for each team as they put their bids in for a spot in the gold medal game. Isaac Goody at center ice. Going in 1-on-4. Got some late help there from Callahan, but a bit too late as Tenard uses a clever stick to go back the other way. From long range, Hudson Lynch will gobble that up and cover it up for the save at 10:08. And with the 2-0 start for the Eastern Dukes, it's going to be very, very close competition to get into that final spot in this tournament. William McClellan taking the offensive zone draw for Cabot. That's into the feet of his winger, Jones. Now Jones has him behind the goal. He's checked there quickly by Brody Noy, and the backhand pass up for his teammate Allison. The Rebels are out. Ace Oatway gains the line. He's going to rotate and tried to spin that for a center to McGregor. It doesn't get to him though. And Jones is out the other way. On the zone entry for Stort, he's going to lay the body on McGregor and gets it to Jones. Now Stort, he has some room going up there against McGilvery, but Luke McGilvery using that long reach to get the puck up and off the tape of Cabot. Out of play at 9:35 to go in the third period. 3-0. The Rebels still in front on High Button Sports. McClellan wins the draw for Cabot. Back to Boyle, now Landry. Landry rubbed out off the play by Allison, but skates through the check. Will also skate around Noy. Landry will now pin up his man in the corner, get some help from Jones. And it's taken away by the Western Rebels. It's Allison wheeling up with it across the center ice logo. And Jones hustles back and gets it to his line mate, McClellan. McClellan joined there by Landry and Stewart from the wide side. McClellan skates around his man and tried to sneak it in on the close side while Landry parked himself at the back door, and the Highlanders can't squeeze it through. Rolls around the back of the net, and Surratt will stop up. Pressured there closely by McClellan. And the Rebels will get it out to the blue line. Otway going in one-on-one against Landry. He's going to beat him wide. Takes his stick too. Otway bouncing puck. Rolled to the glove side of Kirsten, who was sliding one way while the puck was going the other. Collins holds the line. Got it to Callahan off the side of Landry's leg. And he will hobble off the ice there as that one shook him off, catching him in an awkward position. And Harris has that taken away. Stripped by Havercourt in tight. And jumping in there too is Cohen Phillips. And the Highlanders can't generate the shot attempt off that one as Boyd attempted to jam it down low. Delayed offside there against the Highlanders. They back the other way by Callahan. Third in team scoring this year, Ellis Callahan with 34 points and 13 goals. Joined there by Surratt, the team leader in points. Back in the line for Collins. Callahan thought about the one-timer in front. Goody couldn't get a handle on that one as he was left all alone in the slot area. Now Macquarie will punch it in deep for Cabot and will chase his own dump as well, going up against Ty Collins in the corner. And they'll both fall to the ice as they got tied up. A pair more Rebels jump in there, also joined by Poirier for Cabot. And Collins and Macquarie were still tied up in behind the play as Harris backs off. Going to hit Caleb Smallman at the red line. Using that backhand to go in on Boyd, but Boyd is efficient in taking that one away. He finds some time and space to go up the middle, looking for McGinnis up the middle of the ice, but it's going to miss him, and an icing call, the assessment, against the Cabot Highlanders with 7:13 on the clock to go here in the third. The Rebels keeping the Highlanders' chances here at bay to preserve their 3-goal lead here in the latter half of the last frame. Connor Hudson wins the draw clean for the Rebels. Back to McGilvery. Around the board for Zach Goody. Caleb Smallman also there. Rolled off the tape of Smallman, and Zach Goody will pick it up in his support. 2-on-1 there as pushing away in the corners. Brett Boyd battling for the Highlanders. Still pushing away with Smallman as Hudson is dumped to the ice there and behind the play for Western. Connor Hudson going up against the wall. Battling against Matthew Beaton, the other defenseman from Cabot out here. Pigeon lets it go from the point. That's going to smash off the boards and wide of Kirsten's net. There's a good cycle shift going here for the Western Rebels. Boyd trying to get that up and out of the zone. Is stripped by Hudson. He's going to walk in. Hudson and Zach Goody on top of the net, and the arm is up in behind the play there. It's a head contact assessment is the call, and some words exchanged after the play between Zach Goody and a few members of the Cabot Highlanders. Brett Boyd goes to sit down in the box. So Cabot will sit in the sin bin for what will likely be 2 minutes or less. And the Western Rebels power play will get to work here for the second time tonight. Alice Callahan out to take the draw. Ace Otway to his right. Ben McGregor to his left. And Surratt and Pino at the point. So a five-forward power play for the Western Rebels they're going to experiment with here. They've been on and off that all season long. As Ace Otway grabs that in behind his goal, goes up to Surratt. Pino picks it up now. Returns to Surratt on the far side circle. Will cross ice, scores! Alice Callahan on the power play finishes on the one-timer and make that 4-0 Rebels. A great playmaking there. Surratt setting up his line mate, Ellis Callahan. And that will put the game even more out of the Highlanders' reach at this juncture, extending their lead to 4. The Western Rebels with a commanding lead now here in the third period. That is high up off the glass, stays in play. It's caught there by Tobin McEwen. He'll walk in 2-on-1. The backhand attempt, set it up in front. Some patience displayed there from McEwen, but it didn't quite find its way in front to his teammate Pino, who's charging the net. Slapping at it are a pair of Highlanders defenders. They can't get it out. It's returned to the corner by Jack McDonald. Less than 6 to play now in the third period. McEwen takes it back in the corner. Pino in there to help him out as well. Works up for Noy, winds up. A howitzer from the point is barely deflected off the blocker of Kirsten and rims around the wall. And it'll go to Ben Harris. Noy also trying to jam that out. He finally does off the skate blade of Pino. Walking in is McCaddy. Lets that go from the top of the circle and is scooped up and saved by Hudson Lynch. 5:19 to go here in the third period. Rebels now up by 4 on High Button Sports. Draws one back by Western here. Cabot attempts to hold the zone. They do not. Beaton has to back off. While Ty Collins takes it up through the middle and is stripped there by Stewart. Lets it go, is looking high blocker on Hudson Lynch. It's going to sail high of the goal though. Now into the corner for Andrew Jones. Bumped off the puck there by Collins. Did it stay in? Yes it did. So the play will continue up the other way, led by Allison. Ace Oatway now with possession. We'll send it up the middle where Ben McGregor will pick it up. Tried to return the centering pass to Allison, who is waiting at the net front. And now Cabot will maneuver it up through the neutral zone. William McClellan walks through the legs, and almost snuck it through the 6-hole of Hudson Lynch. It's a great individual effort there by McClellan. He's shown flashes of that all tournament here for Cabot, but couldn't finish the scoring play. Oh, so close that time. That'll come all the way back. Kirsten tees it up for his defenseman, who will wheel out from in behind the net, and he's going to lose it. Smallman in 1-on-1, looking low, glove on Kirsten, but it missed the net altogether, and a penalty in behind the play. This one will be going against the Western Rebels as Kirsten beelines for the bench, and McGilvery will touch up. There's a big hit in behind the net on that one. It's a boarding call, looks to be the assessment from the referee. And Zach Goody will head to the box. So the Cabot Highlanders, with just under 4 minutes to go in the hockey game, will get to work on the power play. And what a time to come through for them if they want to make a super late comeback bid here in this game against the Rebels. Macquarie will take the draw for the power play unit. Thrown out of the circle was Goody, so Ellis Callahan took the draw and lost it to Macquarie. Boyd walks in, looking for the back door. Parked at the far side was Macquarie. It missed him. Now we'll walk to the far side, hash marks. He's rubbed out off the play, though, by McGilvery, and now McGilvery is in his feet. That's going to be maneuvered over now. Brett Boyd has some room. Lets it go! And the shoulder save as Hudson Lynch came out to challenge him. And he made a huge stop. So the faceoff will remain inside the Rebels zone. Another minute 36 to play on the power play. Callahan and Macquarie in the tie-up. Comes back to Boyd at the point. Worked over the far side and the shot along the ice. Rebound, squirted out. And wide open was one Highlander who was unable to put in the open net. It was McCaddy at the far side and thrown out in front again. A pair of Highlanders were swinging at the bouncing puck in front of Lynch, and it didn't go, and a huge hit thrown there coming up the wall as Harris got involved in the play physically. Another minute and 5 to go. The power play unit will change up for Cabot as the captain Boyd will walk it into the zone. Harris rimmed out around the boards, not hard enough as it's held at the line. Walking in, close quarters, trying to snap that down low. Couldn't beat Lynch there either. Now, big hit thrown there by Collins. Havercourt also in there for the Highlanders. and is cleared up the center and now in behind the net by Ace Otway. More changes on the part of the Highlanders. 2.5 to go here in the game, as Otway will break up that outlet pass. Landry briefly had it in front of the penalty boxes. Now Andy Murray will carry it in. Throws it along the bumper to the far side where Landry is waiting. Daniel Landry chased there by Brody Noy. Carried in down. Maybe a chance here for Andrew Jones of the Highlanders, but Noy is hanging off him too. Leads for Landry, and close off the back of the net. That one didn't go in and went off the side as it is cleared out the center, and the Western Rebels will kill that one off. Less than 2 to go now here in Tyne Valley. Western about to advance to 1-1 on their tournament, and now a 2-on-1. Sam Surratt and Callahan away, and it's dished across, and another one for Ellis Callahan. Will beat an outstretched Kirsten to the glove side and make that 5-0 on the scoreboard for the hosts. So Ellis Callahan finds the back of the net twice here in the third period. Both of them off perfect passes from their leading scorer, Sam Surratt. With 101 seconds left to play in the period. We get a draw off center ice. McDonald, the centerman, gives chase and steals it from a Highlander. Rolls around for Pino. Joined up there on the rush by McEwen. McEwen going in 1-on-1. And a good back check there from Jameis Beaton will break it up and will knock number 17 for the Rebels to the ice. Now retrieved by Sam Murray. Gets it up to Jameis Beaton. He's going to gain the red line. Now walking in. And sandwiched in between a pair of Rebels was Murray. Gets back up to his feet. Now 1:05 left to play in the game. Highlanders trying to hold it in and maybe try their hand at bearing one in this game. It's McEwen on the backhand saucer. Flies that up and over the top. Pino gives chase into the corner. Joined there by Jack McDonald. The puck comes to a freeze along the wall. And let go from the point off Pigeon. Rebound to McGilvery. Second save there by Carter Kirsten. And it rolled away finally. It's Carter Kirsten staying sharp in the net. He didn't have much of a chance here on the two Rebels goals here in this period. Both backdoor setups to the one-timer for Ellis Callahan. Callahan, who possesses a weapon of a shot for the Western Rebels, as it's shot into the corner. 20 seconds now left in the hockey game. So the Rebels will move on to HC Kings tomorrow with a win under their belt. Will snap a 5-game losing streak, all of which have come against the Eastern Dukes, and will treat their home fans to a win here in Tyne Valley in dominant fashion over the top regular season team, Cabot Highlanders, here in PEI. 5-0, the final score. It's a shutout for Hudson Lynch between the pipes for the Rebels. A big win for him and the team here for Western. So the teams will head to the blue lines and we'll throw it down to the ice for the player of the game honors here for this matchup between the Highlanders and the Rebels.
Please welcome to the ice, making our post-game presentations, representing the tournament committee. Please welcome Penny Ellis. First, beginning with the Cabot Highlanders, player of the game goes number 17, Andrew Jones. And for the Western
So player of the game honors to Andrew Jones from the Cabot Highlanders. And with the shutout, the perfect record in that in this one, Hudson Lynch opening his Maritime tournament with a bang here in Tyne Valley as the Rebels take this one in controlling fashion here at home and come away with their first victory of the 2026 U16 AAA Maritime Hockey Championships here in Tyne Valley. Well, thanks for tuning in to High Button Sports for this one. That'll wrap up our action here for our Thursday games at the Maritime Championships. My name is Luke Diamond. It was a pleasure to help bring you the games here today. We'll be back with you tomorrow for Championship Friday, 12:30 p.m. puck drop between the Vitoes and the Kings to kick off another 3 games of action in tomorrow's Maritime Championship bill. So long for now, and have a good Thursday night from Tyne Valley.